A new threat. In the depths of space, an alien fleet emerged from the void, their ships sleek and menacing. On the edge of Earth's solar system, they gathered, a swarm of metallic predators poised to strike. At the Deep Space Monitoring Station, a flurry of activity erupted as sensors detected the incoming threat. Dr. Eliza Novak, the station's lead scientist, stared at the screens in disbelief. The readings were unlike anything she had ever seen. "Get me Admiral Graves on the line now," she barked at her assistant, her voice tight with urgency. Within minutes, the station was buzzing with military personnel and scientific advisors. Admiral Michael Graves, a seasoned veteran of the United Earth Defense Force, strode into the command center, his face grim. "What do we have, Doctor?" he asked, his eyes fixed on the main display. Dr. Novak brought up a holographic projection of the alien fleet. "At least 200 ships, Admiral. Their technology is far beyond anything we've encountered. They're moving in formation, headed straight for Earth." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth had long suspected the existence of intelligent life beyond its borders, but no one had anticipated a full-scale invasion. Admiral Graves turned to his communications officer. "Hail them on all frequencies. We need to know their intentions." The officer nodded, his fingers flying across the console. Minutes ticked by, the tension in the room growing with each passing second. Finally, the officer looked up, his face pale. "No response, sir. They're ignoring all our attempts at communication." Dr. Novak studied the data streaming across her screens, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Their ships are heavily shielded. Our scans can't penetrate their hulls. We have no idea what kind of weapons they might be carrying." Admiral Graves clenched his jaw, his mind racing. Earth's defenses were formidable, but they had never been tested against an enemy like this. He knew that the next few hours would be critical. "Send word to the United Earth Council," he ordered. "We need to convene an emergency session and put all our forces on high alert. We don't know what we're dealing with, but we have to be ready for anything." As the station burst into action, Dr. Novak couldn't shake the feeling of dread that settled over her. She had dedicated her life to the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, but now that the moment had arrived, she found herself wishing it had never come. The alien fleet loomed in the distance, a silent, ominous presence that threatened to upend everything humanity thought it knew about the universe. And as Earth braced for the unknown, one thing became clear: nothing would ever be the same again. Part 2. Deceptive Defenses. In a secure bunker deep beneath the surface of the Earth, the United Earth Council gathered to discuss the looming threat. Representatives from every nation sat around the circular table, their faces etched with worry and determination. President Nadia Sato of the United Earth Alliance called the meeting to order. "We face an enemy unlike any we have ever encountered," she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "But we are not defenseless. For years we have been preparing for this very scenario." She nodded to Dr. Liam Hoffman, the lead scientist of Earth's covert defense program. He rose to address the council, his eyes gleaming with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "I present to you Project Phantom Shield." The room darkened as a holographic display sprang to life, revealing a network of intricate, glowing nodes surrounding the Earth. Dr. Hoffman explained that these nodes were quantum shielding platforms, designed to render Earth's most advanced defenses invisible to enemy sensors. "The aliens believe us to be a primitive, defenseless species," he continued, "and that is precisely what we want them to think. Our quantum stealth technology will hide our true capabilities until the moment we choose to reveal them." Admiral Graves leaned forward, his eyes narrowed. "And what of our offensive capabilities, Doctor? How do we plan to fight back against an enemy with superior technology?" Dr. Hoffman smiled, a glint of pride in his eyes. "We have been developing a new generation of weapons, Admiral. Weapons that harness the power of quantum entanglement and subatomic manipulation. The aliens may have advanced plasma technology, but they have never faced anything like what we have in store for them. As the council members murmured in astonishment, President Seto called for order. "We must act quickly," she said. "The aliens will soon be within striking distance of Earth. We need to lure them into a false sense of security, make them believe that we are easy prey." She turned to the council's chief strategist, General Amir Patel. "General, I want you to devise a plan. We will feign weakness, allow the aliens to believe they have the upper hand, and when the time is right, we will strike with all the might of human ingenuity and resolve." General Patel nodded, his mind already whirring with possibilities. "We will need to coordinate with all our forces, Madam President. The aliens must not suspect a thing until it is too late for them to react." As the council debated and refined their strategy, Dr. Novak and her team at the Deep Space Monitoring Station continued to track the alien fleet's progress. The ships moved with a chilling efficiency, their formations perfect and unyielding. Back on the surface, life continued as normal. The public remained unaware of the impending danger, their daily routines uninterrupted. It was a calculated risk, but one the council believed necessary to maintain the illusion of vulnerability. In the depths of space, the alien commander surveyed the blue planet before him, a sneer of contempt on his face. These humans were weak, primitive creatures, no match for the might of his empire. Soon, their world would be just another conquest, another jewel in his crown. But as he prepared to give the order to advance, he had no idea that he was playing right into humanity's hands. Earth's deceptive defenses lay in wait, ready to spring a trap that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of not just one world, but the future of all sentient life. And as the alien fleet drew ever closer, the resolve of humanity only grew stronger, a testament to the indomitable spirit that had carried them to the stars and beyond. A desperate gambit. In the heart of the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, a sense of nervous anticipation filled the air. The alien fleet was now within striking distance, their ships poised to unleash destruction upon the unsuspecting people of Earth. General Patel stood before a holographic map of the solar system, his eyes tracking the movements of the enemy vessels. He knew that the next few hours would be critical, that the fate of humanity rested on the success of their desperate gambit. "We have a small window of opportunity," he said, his voice grave. "The aliens will likely attempt to establish orbit around Earth, to assess our defenses and prepare for a ground invasion. That is when we must strike." Admiral Graves nodded, his face a mask of determination. "Our quantum defense platforms are in position, hidden from their sensors. We will wait until they are committed to their approach, and then we will hit them with everything we have." Dr. Hoffman interjected, his brow furrowed. "We must be careful," he cautioned. "If we reveal our true capabilities too soon, the aliens may have time to adapt their tactics. We need to draw them in, make them believe they have the advantage." President Seto listened intently, weighing the options before her. She knew that the decision she made in the next few moments could determine the course of human history. "We will proceed with the plan," she said at last, her voice firm. "But I want every contingency in place. We cannot afford any mistakes." As the council set to work, finalizing the details of their strategy, Dr. Novak and her team continued to analyze the alien ships. They had detected a weakness in the enemy's plasma shielding, a vulnerability that could be exploited by Earth's advanced quantum weapons. "If we can get close enough," she explained to Admiral Graves, "we can use our entangled particle beams to penetrate their shields. It won't be easy, but it may be our only chance." The Admiral nodded, his jaw set. "We'll need to coordinate our attacks, hit them from multiple angles simultaneously. It's a risk, but one we have to take." As the hours ticked by, the tension on Earth reached a breaking point. The public remained oblivious, going about their daily lives as if nothing were amiss. But in the halls of power, in the command centers and bunkers, the weight of impending conflict hung heavy in the air. And then the moment arrived. The alien fleet entered Earth's orbit, their ships gleaming in the sunlight. They moved with a casual arrogance, secure in their superiority, unaware of the trap that lay in wait. On the surface, Ambassador Evelyn Tran stood before a global communications array, her face a mask of calm resolve. She had been chosen to deliver Earth's final message to the invaders, a last-ditch attempt at diplomacy. "People of the alien fleet," she began, her voice carried across the vastness of space. "I am Ambassador Evelyn Tran of the United Earth Alliance. We come to you in peace, seeking to open a dialogue between our two civilizations." There was a moment of silence, a breathless pause as the world waited for a response. And then, the alien commander's face appeared on the screen, his features twisted in a sneer of contempt. "Pathetic humans," he spat, his voice dripping with disdain. "Your world is now ours. Surrender or face annihilation." Ambassador Tran's eyes narrowed, her voice hardening with resolve. "We will not surrender," she declared, her words ringing out across the globe. "We will fight for our freedom, for our very existence, and we will prevail." With that, she severed the connection, the screen going dark. And in that moment, the trap was sprung. Earth's quantum defense platforms shimmered into existence, their weapons locking onto the alien ships with deadly precision. The desperate gambit had begun, a last-ditch effort to turn the tide of battle. And as the first shots were fired, as the skies above Earth erupted in a maelstrom of fire and fury, humanity held its breath, waiting to see if their boldest plan would be enough to save them from the brink of extinction. The trap is sprung. The alien commander stood on the bridge of his flagship, a smirk of triumph on his face. These humans were weak, their defenses laughable. He had expected more from a species that had dared to defy the might of his empire. "Prepare to fire," he ordered, his voice cold and imperious. "We will wipe this pathetic planet from the face of the galaxy." But even as the words left his lips, a flicker of movement caught his eye. On the view screen before him, a dozen pinpricks of light appeared, growing rapidly in size and intensity. "What is this?" he demanded, his eyes narrowing in suspicion. His subordinates scrambled to their stations, their fingers flying across the consoles. And then, a chilling realization dawned. "Sir," one of them cried out, his voice trembling with fear, "they're firing on us." The alien commander's eyes widened in disbelief as a barrage of quantum-entangled particle beams slammed into his ship, tearing through his plasma shields as if they were paper. Alarms blared, consoles erupted in showers of sparks, and the deck beneath his feet shuddered with the impact. "Impossible," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the chaos. "How could they have?" But there was no time to finish the thought. Across the fleet, the same scene was playing out, as Earth's hidden defenses unleashed a devastating assault on the unsuspecting invaders. In the command center back on Earth, General Patel watched the battle unfold, his eyes glued to the holographic display. The alien ships were in disarray, their formations crumbling under the relentless onslaught of human firepower. "We've caught them off guard," he said, a note of grim satisfaction in his voice. "But they won't stay that way for long. We need to press the attack, keep them off balance." Admiral Graves nodded, his fingers flying across the console before him. "All units, engage at will," he ordered, his voice ringing out across the comm channels. "Show them what human ingenuity and determination can do." Across the globe, hidden silos opened, revealing row upon row of sleek, deadly warships. Pilots rushed to their stations, their faces set with determination as they prepared to join the battle raging above. In the heart of the alien fleet, the commander struggled to regain control of his ship, his mind reeling with the realization of his own hubris. He had underestimated these humans, had dismissed them as primitive and backwards. And now he was paying the price. "All ships, return fire," he bellowed, his voice ragged with desperation. "We will not be beaten by these upstarts." But even as his weapons lashed out, seeking to strike back at the human attackers, he knew that the tide had turned. The humans had outmaneuvered him, had played him for a fool. And now he was fighting for his very survival. On the surface of Earth, the people looked up at the skies, their eyes wide with wonder and fear as the battle raged overhead. They had no idea of the true nature of the conflict, no inkling of the desperate struggle being waged on their behalf. But in the corridors of power, in the bunkers and command centers, the mood was one of grim determination. Earth had gambled everything on this moment, had staked its very future on the success of its bold plan. And as the alien ships began to falter, as the first explosions bloomed against the darkness of space, a cheer went up from the assembled leaders. The trap had been sprung, the tables turned, and humanity, against all odds, was winning. But even as they celebrated, they knew that the fight was far from over. The alien commander was a wily foe, and he would not go down easily. Earth would need every ounce of its strength, every shred of its resolve, to see this battle through to the end. And so, with fire in their hearts and steel in their spines, the people of Earth prepared for the final push, ready to do whatever it took to defend their home, their way of life, and their very existence. The trap had been sprung, but the war was far from over. And as the skies above Earth burned with the fire of 1,000 suns, humanity braced itself for the fight of its life, knowing that the fate of the galaxy itself hung in the balance. Humanity unleashed. As the battle raged in the skies above Earth, the true might of human ingenuity and resolve was unleashed upon the invading alien fleet. The once hidden quantum defense platforms shimmered into existence, their sleek, angular forms bristling with an arsenal of advanced weaponry. Quantum-entangled particle beams lanced out from the platforms, piercing through the alien ship's plasma shields as if they were gossamer. The beams danced and wove in intricate patterns, guided by the intuitive interface of the human gunners, who moved with a fluid grace that belied the destructive power at their fingertips. The alien commander watched in horror as his ships were torn asunder, their hulls breached and their crews consumed by the merciless vacuum of space. He had never seen weapons like these before, had never faced an enemy with such mastery over the fundamental forces of the universe. All ships, fall back, he barked, his voice raw with desperation. Regroup and prepare for counterattack. But even as his orders were relayed across the fleet, he knew that it was too late. The humans had seized the initiative, had caught him off guard and unprepared. And now, they were paying the price for their arrogance. On the surface of Earth, the people watched in awe as the skies above them erupted in a dazzling display of light and color. Streaks of brilliant energy crisscrossed the heavens, the distant flashes of exploding ships painting the clouds in shades of orange and red. In the command center, General Patel and Admiral Graves watched the battle unfold, their faces grim with determination. They knew that they had struck a devastating blow against the alien invaders, but they also knew that the fight was far from over. "We need to keep the pressure on," Admiral Graves said, his eyes scanning the holographic display before him. "If we give them a chance to regroup, they could still turn the tide." General Patel nodded, his fingers flying across the console as he issued new orders to the human fleet. "All units, press the attack," he commanded, his voice ringing out across the comm channels. "We have them on the ropes. Let's finish this." Across the globe, human warships surged into action, their sleek, angular forms cutting through the void of space like arrows loosed from a bow. They moved with a deadly grace, their weapons blazing as they tore into the alien fleet with ruthless efficiency. Pilots jockeyed for position, their minds melding with the advanced neural interfaces of their ships, becoming one with the machines they commanded. They danced and wove through the chaos of battle, their reflexes honed to a razor's edge by years of training and experience. In the heart of the alien fleet, the commander fought to maintain control, his mind reeling with the realization of his own mortality. He had come to this world seeking conquest and glory, had dreamed of adding another jewel to the crown of his empire. But now, as his ship shuddered and bucked beneath him, as alarms blared and consoles erupted in showers of sparks, he knew that he had made a terrible mistake. "We must retreat," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the din of battle. "We cannot win this fight." But even as the words left his lips, he knew that it was too late. The humans had unleashed the full might of their fury upon him, and there would be no escape, no quarter given. And so, with a final defiant roar, the alien commander hurled his ship into the fray, determined to take as many of his enemies with him as he could. If he was to die this day, he would do so with honor, with the knowledge that he had fought to the last. But even as his ship exploded in a blinding flash of light, even as the wreckage of his once proud fleet tumbled and burned in the skies above Earth, the people of this tiny, insignificant world continued to fight. They fought with a courage and determination that he had never seen before, with a fierce, unyielding love for their home and their way of life. And as the last of his ships were consumed by the fury of human vengeance, as the skies above Earth fell silent once more, the alien commander knew that he had been wrong. These humans were not weak, were not primitive or backwards. They were warriors in every sense of the word, and they had earned their place among the stars. In the command center, as the cheers of victory rang out, and the leaders of Earth embraced one another in relief and joy, General Patel and Admiral Graves exchanged a knowing look. They had won the day, had beaten back the alien threat, and secured the future of their world. But they knew that this was only the beginning, that there would be other challenges to come, other enemies to face. But for now, as the people of Earth celebrated their triumph and looked to the stars with newfound wonder and determination, they knew that they were ready to face whatever the universe had in store for them, ready to defend their home and their way of life against all who would threaten it. Humanity had been unleashed, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Victory and revelations. As the last of the alien ships were reduced to smoldering debris in the skies above Earth, a sense of stunned disbelief and overwhelming relief swept across the planet. In the span of mere hours, the course of human history had been irrevocably altered. The balance of power in the galaxy shifted in ways that few could have ever imagined. In the command center, President Sato stood before the assembled leaders of Earth, her face a mask of exhausted triumph. "We have won a great victory today," she declared, her voice ringing out with conviction and pride. "But it is a victory that belongs not just to us, but to all of humanity." She paused, her eyes sweeping across the room, taking in the faces of the men and women who had fought so hard, sacrificed so much, to make this moment possible. For too long, we have hidden our true strength, our true potential, from the eyes of the universe. We have allowed ourselves to be underestimated, to be dismissed as weak and primitive. But as the president spoke, a murmur of unease began to ripple through the crowd. Whispers of secret projects and hidden agendas, of technologies and capabilities that had been kept hidden from the public eye for decades. Dr. Hoffman stepped forward, his face grave with the weight of revelation. "There is something you all need to know," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "Project Phantom Shield was only the beginning. For years, we have been working on advancements that go far beyond anything we have shown the world. Technologies that could change the course of human history, for better or for worse." A hush fell over the room as the implications of his words sank in. The people of Earth had just witnessed the impossible, had seen their world defended by weapons and technologies that defied belief. But now, they were beginning to realize that this was only the tip of the iceberg, that there were secrets buried deep within the heart of their own civilization that they had never even suspected. President Sato raised her hand, her expression hardening with resolve. "The time for secrets is over," she declared, her voice firm and unwavering. "The people of Earth have earned the right to know the truth, to understand the full extent of what we have achieved, and what we are capable of." She turned to face the assembled leaders, her eyes blazing with a fierce, determined light. "We will tell them everything," she said, her words ringing out like a clarion call. "We will show them the wonders we have created, the advancements we have made. And we will do so with pride, with the knowledge that we have earned our place among the stars." As the president spoke, a sense of awe and wonder began to build within the hearts of all those who listened. They had always known that their world was special, that the human spirit was capable of great things. But now, as the full scope of their achievements began to be revealed, they felt a swell of pride and purpose that they had never known before. In the days and weeks that followed, as the truth of Earth's hidden capabilities was slowly revealed to the public, a sense of excitement and possibility began to take hold. People looked to the stars with newfound wonder and determination, dreaming of the adventures and discoveries that lay ahead. But even as they celebrated their victory and marveled at the secrets that had been unveiled, they knew that the universe was vast and full of dangers. They had beaten back one threat, had proven their strength and resolve in the face of impossible odds. But there would be other challenges to come, other enemies to face. And so, as the people of Earth looked to the future with hope and determination, they knew that they would need to be vigilant, to be ready for whatever lay ahead. They had unleashed the full potential of human ingenuity and spirit, and they would need every ounce of that strength and courage in the battles to come. But for now, as the skies above Earth filled with the light of 1 billion stars, as the people of this tiny, remarkable world celebrated their triumph and looked to the future with newfound hope and wonder, they knew that they had earned their place among the greatest civilizations in the galaxy. And they would never let anyone take that away from them again.